Well, I grew up off what's called the Reasoner Road, outside of Newton, Iowa. Go-kart track outside of Newton, Iowa, one of the oldest in the country, the Newton Kart Club. My parents would never let me race. I'd sneak over there all the time. My good friend, still my best friend to this day, raced there his whole life. His family pretty much lived there. One of our other good friends was in a pretty big race. His back tire crawled the wall. He put it sideways. He ended up snoring on the track. My wife and I were both sitting there as this happened, and we drove home, and I'll never forget, she looked at me and I looked at her, and I was thinking, she's never gonna wanna race again. And she was thinking, because she told me at the time, she said, I thought you would never let me race again. And so we were kind of thinking the same thing, but we went and bought a car with a cage because it was safe. You're strapped in, you're belted in, all those kind of things, right? We were working with Rich and on how to set up a car and how to work with the car and all those kind of things. And we realized that we had a car that really just was never gonna work. And when I bought a car from Rich, I started learning about everything that went into building the car, setting up the car. And I had a long history of manufacturing, a long history of welding, of fabricating, of designing. So Jack decided to get in the seat, my youngest son. He hadn't raced a lot. He went out in one race and he actually got T-boned after the checkered flag. We had to rush him to the hospital. We ended up in Iowa City. Basically, they told us, he was gonna go to surgery. Turns out he came out with about a 4-inch rod in his leg. I don't even know how many screws. Outlaw Kart Racing was sort of, it was the Wild West around here. There was no parameters really. There was no structure to most of it. The Nerf bars on the car failed. And they failed because they were flat cart Nerf bars. While this was going on, we're in the hospital, we're out of the hospital, we're helping Jack, he's on a walker, all this kind of stuff. Kurt and Rich, who were, in Toigo at the time, were already developing a Nerf bar. Just because this happened. They created our first gen Nerf bar, which to this day, it's one of the safest Nerf bars that you can put on a car. It has caused many other people to develop Nerf bars that are almost just like that Nerf bar. That Nerf bar doesn't collapse. If it does collapse, it collapses into the chassis and doesn't allow them to get in on the seat. I started welding cages for them. It went really well. We had a lot of fun. And it turned into them asking me to be a part owner of Toigo. I thought a long time about it, whether that was something I was interested in and wanted to do. I had decided that, it really was. It was something that was a really great creative outlet for me to not only be able to be a part of the physical making, which is something I love, I desire to actually have my hands in it and make it, but I also really want to be in the design end of things. I really want to help with the design. And once my son got hurt, it changed everything. I knew that things had to change, whether it was at racetracks or it was within the design of the cars themselves and some of the regulations that were put on these cars. Once I became a part of Toigo, that became my mission, was that wasn't gonna happen to another kid. And I participated and worked at a track, and that was my mission there too, is that wasn't gonna happen to another kid if I could have anything to do with it. People come to Toigo because we're here to help. We're here to give you everything that we have. We're here to give you all the information, the best information that we have. Our kids don't race. We don't race. We have no factory drivers. We have no house drivers. If somebody puts Toigo on their car, it's because they want to put Toigo on their car. If they put Ryther on their car, it's because they want to put Ryther on their car. They ask me all the time, can I put this on? Is it all right? And I send them the logos. I'm like, of course it's all right. I'm happy that you would ask to even put it on your car, because most people are filling their cars with sponsors.